I used to struggle with this a lot. Like, I would walk into a room and I would think that everybody else is just watching every move of mine. Every stumble, every awkward word, or each little stain of coffee on my shirt was the star of the show. But over time, I realized that absolutely no one noticed. I think most of us have felt this at some point of time in life or still feel this way. So, welcome to the spotlight effect, a sneaky cognitive bias that makes us believe that everybody else is constantly watching us when it is so much far from the truth. Today, let's break down what this spotlight effect is, why it happens, and most importantly, how to avoid that. Hi guys, if you're new here, I am Anudeep Sharma and I work as a software engineer by the day, and I make videos on this YouTube channel on topics relating to self-development, growth, tech, and entrepreneurship. So if any of those things sound interesting, please consider subscribing. Enough of the plug. Let's get started. So, the spotlight effect is a cognitive bias that makes us believe that everybody else is noticing our appearance, presence, behaviors, and our mistakes much more than they actually do. It's like walking around believing that there's a literal spotlight on you, highlighting every misstep and every awkward moment that you encounter. But in reality, this spotlight exists only in our minds. And the matter of the fact is that literally nobody else is looking at you because they are way too busy with their own lives, worries, and insecurities to even care about you. And this can often lead to a lot of social anxiety and it stops us from trying out new things out of the fear of judgment. And I really used to struggle with this. Being a natural introvert, I would not participate in new conversations or new activities, thinking that I can make a mistake and my reputation will be ruined in front of these new people. And I believe that this world revolved around me and each and every move that I make has to be perfect. But the reality is so far away from the truth. And chances are, if you have clicked on this video, you also suffer from this or have suffered from this. So let's find out why this happens. There are two main reasons behind the spotlight effect: our internal biases and our external pressures. We naturally view the world from our own lens. This is called an egocentric bias. It makes us hyper aware of our actions and emotions and our image in front of the people. And all this leads us to overestimate how visible we are to other people. To be honest, for most of our history, being hyper aware of our emotions and our actions and having a good social standings and making sure that other people perceive us in a really good way was important for our survival. Because if you did not have a good social standing, the tribe would just leave you and you can't fight the lion alone. If you're alone, you're gonna get eaten out real soon. So technically this heightened awareness is in our DNA, and I'm sure you can relate to this when you're giving a presentation. If you skip a word or if you miss a concept, you feel that hell has broken loose. But chances are that most of the people are just following along and they did not even notice your hiccup, or even if they did, they forgot about it pretty quickly. A second phenomenon that marks our internal bias is called selective attention. We tend to focus on and replay in our minds our mistakes and mistakes only. This is called the selective attention. We fixate on the awkward comment we made at the party, believing that everybody else is replaying that awkward comment in their head and nobody is talking to you, everybody hates you, and then your life is a mess. And the root of all this overthinking is believing that everybody else is actually replaying that moment again and again in their mind. But the truth is that nobody actually noticed, or even if they did, they forgot about it pretty quickly because the moments that those people are replaying in their heads are entirely different. The things that are important to you might not be important to them, and the things that are important to them, they are replaying those moments. Let me explain. Research suggests that our brain cannot handle all this stimuli all at once. So it sort of selects the most important ones. And as I mentioned, for most of our history, the most important stimuli to remember is how we are perceived by other people or how dangerous or negative a situation is. Because if you are not careful, a drought can happen if there's no food around, or an animal can come and eat you up. So basically in history, you were always exposed to these dangers and you had to be hyperactive and focus on all the negatives. So over time, our DNA and our genes and our evolution forced us to give more emphasis on the negative rather than positive. And even today, you can see that negative news blows up more than positive ones. Negative comments makes you hurt more than positive comments makes you feel good. So basically what the research points out is that negative experiences / negative comments / negative thoughts makes your brain fire more neurons than positive ones, and that is the reason why we keep on replaying those negative moments again and again. We live in a world where social media and cultural standards Both of these two different things, by the way, they dictate our behavior. Social media, with its curated feed and highlight reels, they make us believe that we have to be picture perfect and then we have to live a life that is free of mistakes. And even the cultural and societal norms that are set by advertisements, media, movies, all of these things reinforce the need to be flawless in appearance, presence, behavior, knowledge, and virtually everything. All of these forces sort of create an external pressure on us to present a fake ideal version of ourselves, which we are not, a version of us that knows everything, that is intelligent and smart and kind, and that absolutely cannot make mistakes. But to be honest, all of these things are taken away from one thing that makes us being human, that is making mistakes. And the conclusion of this is that all of it leads to a lot of social anxiety. Now that we know what this spotlight effect mechanism is and why it happens, let's get down to some practical strategies that have helped me overcome this. Number one, questioning the assumptions. Whenever I feel that, oh damn, that typo in this email will be noticed by everybody, I just pause myself and ask, when is the last time I noticed a typo in anybody's email? Chances are I don't remember. And that can mean two things. Number one, everybody else is flawless. Everybody else is a robot that cannot make mistakes, which is certainly not true. And number two, everybody else has also made mistakes, but I have not noticed them. I have not noticed them because I was too worried about not making mistakes myself. I was too worried about my work, about the pressures that I have, about my own deadline, that I did not focus on everybody else's mistakes. So basically, even if I have made the mistake, nobody else is gonna notice it, and even if they do, they're not gonna come after me for making a typo. Number two, embracing imperfections. As I mentioned earlier, being human means being imperfect. Believe me or not, this statement is gonna have a lot of value in times to come, especially in this new era where AI can make absolutely perfect. Your imperfections are going to shine. Virtually everybody makes mistakes. They're a part and parcel of life and growth. I now embrace mistakes rather than fearing them, because I've realized that there is no such thing as failure, and I either win or I learn. And even during one of my code reviews, I would, think twice before asking a stupid question. But soon enough, I realized that even if I ask, nobody thinks that I'm an idiot, because obviously every expert was once a beginner. And secondly, people don't notice my stupid question, or even if they do, they are too busy with their own work and their own deadlines that they, don't give a damn. So, embracing being imperfect has shed off a lot of weight from my shoulders. And number three, managing external influences. Just limiting the time I spend on social media has been such a game changer, because these feeds often show a curated version of reality. It's sort of an illusion, it's not real, and taking breaks from it can, ease the pressure of appearing perfect all the time. And one thing that I always tell myself is, everything that is on a screen is not real. That advertisement, that movie, that TV series, heck, even this YouTube video. I didn't just come here and start filming. I script my videos, I research and I analyze how these concepts relate to my life, and then I make all of this content a presentable video so that I can provide as much value as possible in these videos for you, so that can help you make your amazing life even more better. So my point is, anything that is on the screen is not perfect, and just managing this external stimuli can be a game changer, because then you will not be always living in this illusion, this reality that is presented to us, which in turn is very different from the actual reality you live in. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're already here, please hit like if you found this of value, helps out the channel. Subscribe if you loved it, and let me know down in the comments what's one moment when you thought everybody else was noticing you, but later found out that literally nobody noticed. I would love to know your comments. Let's normalize being humans together. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.